Hello there, I'm Conrad, your host at Grumpy Old Geezer Boxing. Yes, I'm your grumpy old geezer, and today we're going to talk about the jab. The way we're going to gear this, because it is important, is we're going to go up to the war room, chalkboard the whole thing, go through the science of the jab as best I know how, and I think you're going to like it, right? We're going to get how you're going to get some pop, how you're going to get some speed and some commitment to that jab, right? Even if you're not young and spry anymore, you can still do it, right? And then after that, we're going to take these bits and pieces and we're going to go outside to the gazebo, white trash gazebo from hell, in my neighbor's yard, where I hung up a bag, and we're going to put some of this stuff into practice, okay? So stick with me. I hope you enjoy it, and let's get going. Welcome to the war room. GOG boxing, grumpy old geezer boxing. I'll try not to be too grumpy today. Sometimes I do get grumpy though when it comes to the jab. Yes, the jab. The jab. Now, why is the jab so important? The jab is so important because it's by far the most important punch in boxing, and because so many people really do it wrong or they don't do it well. Lots of guys, if you get on the forums, you'll hear guys talking about, I can't get a jab, I used to have a jab, my jab is weak, whatever. Well, a lot of times it is. It's hard to cultivate a jab and get that pop in the jab. And believe me, I know a little bit about that because I'm 53. I was away from boxing for a long time, came back, thought I could do the things I used to do, and then realized that, oh, I'm going to have to work at it again, right? So you get down to the mechanics. Now, the science of boxing. Boxing is a science, and so we're going to go over really quickly a few things that will actually help you. Let's say you're brand new to boxing. Let's say that maybe you're just a little getting older, you're hitting your late 30s, 40s, 50s even, and you want to get into boxing. Maybe you have a fight night coming up, like one of these executive fight nights, whatever. Got to get that jab down. That jab, in a lot of ways, is even your best defense. It will keep guys off you, especially some of these younger, real gung-ho guys that you got to watch out about. Now, the stance. First of all, let's talk about the stance. Now, I'm going to talk about the stance in another video and how I really think that the front foot should be more pointed towards you, not so much in an angle. A lot of guys, like, if you take, I'll get my magic piece of chalk if I can find it in my pocket, which maybe I can't. Oh, okay. So, like the back foot would be here, and here's a line. See, here's kind of like the front foot. That's how a lot of guys will, and that's fine. That's fine. You do feel good when you're like that. I kind of like when the front foot's more pointed forward, because it makes sure that your weight is more on the back foot, right? And you're not leaning forward, because that feels really weird, where you can kind of lean forward when it's at an angle and it doesn't feel that weird. And also, it actually helps you get better pivots, especially when you get older and you don't have it. Pivoting is not quite as easy for you to do, right? But the big thing is not to have your weight on the front foot, and I'll tell you why. Like, before we talk into how to shoot the jab, don't throw the jab. It's shooting, blasting. Throwing is like throwing it out there and having somebody come over the top, bing, and you get hit, right? Let's talk about it. So a lot of guys you see nowadays are influenced by some of the why shouldn't they be? Guys like Floyd Mayweather, some of these big name boxers who are just, they're so athletic and they're so skilled, they're geniuses. They're like from another planet. But they'll see these guys baiting, right? Baiting in like a Philly shell, and they'll be like that. They'll have their weight on the front foot. That's a bait. We are not going to bait. No bait stance. We're going to get more on the back foot when we fight. This is like from the Kenny Weldon school of boxing that we had back in Texas. The late Kenny Weldon, genius trainer, unbelievable. He really influenced Texas boxing, amateur boxing, pro boxing, right? Now, what happens? Let's say that we get into a front foot stance and we don't want to do this, where you have the weight more on the front foot. Look what happens. Here I am, right? And I want to shoot that jab, right? But look, and this is my range. I mean, I'm on my front foot, so this is my range. That's about as far as it's going to get, okay? It's not very far, okay? Not very far. I don't know what that is. But anyway, now, what if I have my weight on my back foot and I shoot it? I can actually, without even taking a step, right? It's the same distance, maybe a tiny bit further, because it's more natural for me to to straighten that out. But if I can take a tiny step with it, bam, I'm already here. Now, when I have my weight on the front foot, I can't take that step. I can't really take that step. But when I have it on the back foot, bam, I can take that step. Look where I am without even trying. But now, since I have the weight actually also on the back foot. I can take like a bigger step, like kind of a Golovkin triple G type step. Bam! Look where I am now. The other thing is, when I'm on the front foot and I have this limited range, okay, actually be back here, I have this limited range, my head's closer to the guy and my shoulders down. You know, if I'm baiting and I'm not fast enough, he's gonna nail me, right? When I'm back here, I've got more distance and he may not even think that I can hit him, not even in range. Even if I take a little step, I really may surprise him. So that's one of the reasons why you're more on the back foot in your stance. It's actually a lot easier to move, but we'll talk about stance a little later. Let's get to the mechanics of the jab, okay? Now, the big thing, when you shoot that jab out, don't throw it, you shoot it out. No flare, okay? Flare, I'm talking about your elbow. Lots of guys are trying to use their arm, especially guys that do a lot of bench press. They're trying to use their arm and their elbow's coming up because, like, you know, you do bench press like that, right? Their elbow's coming up. That is not what we're gonna do here. You do not want that elbow to come out. You wanna be in your stance, and when you shoot that jab out, you want that elbow to stay in, But how do we do that? Now, you see guys, right? I've seen this before, say just make sure you shoot the elbow's in. They might say come get against the wall, right? And you can do that. Get against the wall and practice, because the wall keeps your elbow, right, from flaring out. I did that against a brick wall one time that about took all the skin on my arm off. But there's an easier way, okay? And the way is like this. You're here, right? And think about karate, like a palm strike, okay? So I practice with a few times with this palm. When I do that, my elbow will not come out. It will not come out with my palm and my fingers vertical. Will not come out. If I do it with my right hand, my elbow will not come out, you see? It also it kind of forces you to get your twitch into your toes right, which we'll talk about in a minute. Now you practice that a few times, and then you make a fist, right? Then you make a fist. No, practice it more, then you make a fist. And you see how it's teaching me to keep my elbow in, right? So we can go like this even. Bop, 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 bop. Get a little rhythm. And then you make a fist,